Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go. And boom, it did. Bitcoin to the upside off that 786 bounce of this impulse retrace idea. And where do we stand now? Let's go ahead and pull a fib here and see where it is in terms of that deep level. Currently rejecting that 706 range here and coming back down possibly into a deeper retrace for that C wave on the ABC to the downside here. Also a rejection of that 382 level of the diagonal pitch fan we've had price in since January. Quite fascinating. Let's go into high block capital and see what the liquidity is. What is high block? Well, people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. And we get to see where those stop losses and crispy characters are. So we were looking yesterday around here, talking about the possibility of going higher on the 15-minute. Little did we know that it was going to go up higher than that. So they had a bunch of these longs down here, the 291 million, after spiking into, and they came back for the 100xers of the 291 million, and then they started to make their ascent, and ascent they did all the way up to 30k. And that manipulation, wick, and false information of the ETF approval, everything is just manipulated and false in these markets, so you can't trust the dang thing. It's just justification to take out some liquidity, and we'll see where that liquidity was. So they had these 474 million in longs that were opened up here, and even more if we go in deeper here, and we'll see what this retrace triggered and gave back, shall we? Let's go see what it trapped inside this here. So you had basically 14 billion, and they came back down to the 4 billion, so they took out 10 billion in this wick in just the longs. So the short side of things we'll see on the higher time frame, but this 417 million, 376 million, 499 million, all of these guys were unfortunate trapped retail souls that got taken out and burnt to a crisp.
Fatality.
And the market maker has no remorse for that. It just went back to equilibrium as if nothing happened. Like, what 30k wick? What are you talking about? And that gobbled up 10 billion on this side in induced limit longs. And let's go see what it did on the other side. So it caught the shorts off guard. So there were a few pools that entered here, 322 million here, 280 million here. And now then it retraced into the 50x after that point. So it came back all the way to that $322 million 50x pool of shorts and said, okay, good enough. We gobbled up both sides fair square. Let's stabilize. And they stabilized into the 100xers and back into the shorts. And here we are back at seeming equilibrium after such a violent move like that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the higher time frame to see which pools they went to take out. On the 7-day, they completely cleared that range up to the 30,000 level. Not even that much there on the 7-day, but then they now created this imbalance down below to the tune of $4 billion at 26.4. This also coincides with the higher time frame, so it looks like we're poised to retrace FOMC day to day, and tomorrow quite volatile, so they're clearing the shorts for a potential move to the downside perhaps, because they cleared it all the way up to 30,005, just all shorts gone and only long liquidity. Imbalance down below at 26.5 and lower. Also coinciding with that 7-day, 1 month is in agreement to the downside. Same with the 3-month, 23.6, 65 billion, 57 billion at 23.4. Also coinciding with the downside. 6-month time frame does have some longs up here at 32.1, but that's about it. If we were able to sustain that move, maybe I would more likely be interested in that, but we're at that halfway point to go either way, and currently there is more to the downside. If we look at the 2-year time frame, 2-year time frame getting mighty thick up in these regions, definitely 200, 600 plus billion up in that 33.2 region. They're thickening up those shorts up there. Are they intending to take it higher at some point? I would expect that they hit that 23.6 unless these are, pardon me, sneeze, that protected position of some market makers or something down at 23.6. I would expect them to want to come get that at some point. So let's go back to the monthly time frame and see what pools exist below. 26.4, 25.8. Let's go ahead and throw that on the charts. Okay, so what were we looking at? Let's go ahead and throw on our momentum here. Link in the description for more, momentummaster.info. How are we able to intuit this move to the upside from back when everyone was bearish and calling for lower? momentummaster.info, scroll down to features, toggle everything from Bitcoin's bottom to see what it looks like. You got the trend cloud and all that baselines and fun stuff, stochastic array, and you can see how it comes into prominence as we go over it. So what we're looking at now was this cloud on the 12-hour and how it could possibly be bearishly retesting. We were looking at the idea of coming up to kiss this cloud. Little did we know how high it would go beyond that. Now the cloud has thickened up again and changed the narrative. So this can be deleted. And also we're seeing these curvature on these lower time frames. So let's go ahead and see where those lower time frame curvatures were. I believe it was on the 4-hour. Yes, sir. So on the 4-hour was this curvature angle here, insinuating that we could get this push up to that 12-hour cloud. So this was the curve. Little did we know it would curve in such a violent manner like this. We were just looking at the frugal value. And then also down here at the hourly cloud, we are seeing the cloud hold as we curved up over Saturday and Sunday, and we are laying out the groundwork for the long with the 6 time frames oversold and the rocket ship that appeared into this level. Let's go ahead and see where that rocket ship appeared. It was right around there at 26,680, right around that clearing of that pool at 26,568. We cleared that pool, our target. We had the short set up from the 236 at 27,953 all the way down, and now we started to build that narrative all the way up. So interesting how we had these pools laid out for you. And yeah, so this hourly cloud held here, most notably at this region, started to make some cloud shifts, the thinning of the cloud, and then candles above it, and then boom, we were gone from that point. And so where do we go from here? All fine and dandy. What's next? What's in store? What's the deal for Tuesday, Wednesday? Well, first of all, you have to know what's in the pipeline for trading. I don't know if I'm going to be trading so heavy today and tomorrow, because look at all these red folders. Just so much news afoot, not just today but also on Wednesday. Got a bunch of red news, so it could go either way, and it could go both ways, and it could just be a seek and destroy mission for both sides. So be very careful out there for the next 2 days, because it could be spelling the doom for many accounts if not. So where are we now? This 28,690 region, this yellow line I've had in the charts for some time. This is a daily support level, support and resistance. You have a bunch of touch, 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 touch. You have these consolidation paths, touch, touch, touch. This is all the way from 2022. We can have this all the way back from 2020. This is a line of support on the daily time frame. I only use daily support lines here that have multiple touches. So that's what we were looking at when we were making our ascent up here and rejection at 31K. So we got a stab up there, and we did that before with the whole Binance FTX thing. They did this whole manipulation, buyback, sell off thing before a short. So the fast move, false move idea of coming up fast and selling off fast to give credence to the side that is right, which is the shorts. They wanted to knock them out as quick and as fast as possible without paying any new shorts to enter, and saying, just ignore that wick, please. And so they ignored all that wick, but then all that liquidity is gone, completely gone. So this downside path is very evident now on the monthly time frame. Do we adhere to that and close lower? That is the question. We got 30 minutes for the daily candle close, so let's go ahead and see how that holds up in court. We got the volume stepping up to the plate on the vector candle. We got this money flow starting to come back above the RSI. This is why we have the RSI and the money flow overlaid like this. When the money flow comes beneath the RSI, it starts to insinuate that it wants to come back to the RSI here. We're also talking about that cloud bounce idea. We got a cloud bounce off on Wednesday, September 27th. Would we get another cloud bounce with this angle change here, continuing to the upside on the daily time frame? If we go to the 3-day, the thing we were looking at on the 3-day was, do we close a candle above this cloud that is now purple? We're starting to make the insinuation of a double top here. Why is that? Well, the baselines are crossed up here. We have the baselines crossed up here, and the baselines kind of support the price as we head higher. So these baselines have been holding true. We failed the thin baseline for a little bit for 3 days, brought it back up, and now we're coming back above the second baseline. Now can we make it above this cloud and hold this cloud and start to shift it in a manner here? That is the question. Or is this purple wave going to cause this in the next 2 days to sell off beneath this point at 27.8 and lower and create a huge sell-off wick to continue that C wave to the downside? We're looking at the possibility of this idea originally. Technically, this is still on par for this to possibly occur. Technically, we can raise this up to a level here. I don't know if we want to use that manipulated wick. We'll just leave it where it is for now. But yeah, coming down into that 21, 22, 200, 222 region at the 618 here of this impulse to the upside, golden pocket region would coincide with the confluence of the bearish trend-based fib level down below. So coming down to this region could be a possibility, and or this entire range again sweeping the 19K at some point. Highly possible at some point. All right, so going back below under the 22-hour time frame, 22-hour managed to close the first of the 22 hours. The next 2-hour candle closes in 24 minutes. Already got that upside move, the cross-up event, the money flow coming back to the RSI. Great volume on that candle. And if we go into the 12-hour also creating 2 vector candles over the last 2 days. The volume increased in the last candle, but still getting a lot of sell-off there. Rising sun event could continue as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday. Could do a lot of things with all the news, so most likely coming lower and trying to spike. Maybe there's some bearish news afoot. Currently holding the cloud on this steady path to the upside, this angle to pointing to near 2 o'clock. Got some thickness injected back into that 12-hour that we were looking at possibly curving to the downside there. So that was the saving grace play on the 12-hour time frame. We were talking about coming above a certain level, and then we did. I said watch out for this 706 region, and then we burst above it and then some. So it held our idea to be true. We can delete this curved line here. 6 hour time frame overbought, but getting more money flow coming in, and basically the 12-hour subtle support could have you at hello to continue. 4 hour in much of the same boat here. And also if we go to the hourly, starting to get this bearish divergence that kicked in over here. Extremely overbought on the RSI and the money flow as it's turning hot red. You're getting the stochastic as it forgets the candles, as it looks back in time, it starts to reset itself. But as it maintains the range while it does that, this becomes a bullish insinuation while you reset the hourly time frame and basically go sideways. This could be a hourly play to the upside here, but the liquidity does not suggest any reason to go up unless you're going to grab some let's go see on the 1 minute time frame. Well, you have 280 million up at 29,162, partner in crime at 29,319, 322 million. So let's say 29,319, 29,319. So we'll just mark that off. 29,319. That's close enough. So inside that wick is some shorts, 300 million to be exact up here, 322 million up here that they could go up to in the 25x form to knock out. If we look down below, awfully large amount down below as well. You got some $474 million at 27,349. That would clear this thick band here, 27,349. Let's go ahead and mark that off. 27,349. So at the bare minimum, you can come here and get these liquidity levels. So what are you waiting for? If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that like button and go ahead and give the algorithm a little bit of a boost. 27,349, $300 million pool down there. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, down here, 27,349, partner in crime down at 26,791. There's currently more imbalance to the downside to the tune of 8.6 billion in long liquidity on the 1 minute time frame. We talked about all the higher time frames that also insinuate that. And then one thing against that bullish narrative to go higher on the hourly is now this cross down event. So you're starting to get the baseline to cross down here. This is what happens in Momentum Master when you have the baselines. They're your first sign of your reversal. So they have you at hello for each move and every move. They will always be crossing up before the price is and always be crossing down before the price is. It's just a matter of which cross up and which cross down you play. And essentially you can play each one. If you set your stop into profit, you'll just be giving back some money to fees, but for the most part you'll catch every single move that way. All right, so the hourly time frame setting up for that cross down event. Do these baselines suppress the price? When you have these baselines above the price like this, they start to become this downward trickle of pressure of momentum, and then they start to trickle down the mountain. I'll show you example of how that occurs. We do it every day pretty much here. So you have this cross up event here, for example. It started back here. They had 1, 2, 3 hours of upside. It just couldn't make it higher. Baseline suppression, wick beneath the baselines, and boom, close, tries to get above the baseline, fail, tries to get above the baseline, tries to get fail, and just like water down a mountain. And then it starts to cross back up, holds the baselines the entire way, and sure enough comes back at least above your entry, and then starts to do the same. So all of these baselines have you at hello. So are we going to get an extended M pattern? We are currently above this. The cloud got so much volume, it looks like an altcoin with the way it jilted up like that. Rarely do I see something like that on the hourly. For anything like BTC, it would be more like, you know, a low liquidity micro cap coin that has a cloud that wonky. All right, so going into the 15 minute also attempting to go sideways here above the range. This range was basically taken out, so we can delete this now and reassess. So we have some liquidity pools above, we have some liquidity pools below, we have the ones from the previous levels, the 200 million each down here, and the higher time frames. We have some other liquidity opening up as we were rising from the rocket ships over here. So where do we want to go from here? That is the true question. Maybe we can spike up and come back down for one last hurrah here, come up to this candle and then start to make our journey down here. To be honest with you, I would not be so gung-ho to be in the trades unless you're already in profit and stops are in profit and you don't mind getting kicked out, losing some of that profit, because it could be a wild day today, to say the least. Okay, so you got the cross down, cross up, cross down now for the 15 minutes. So the 15 minute is crossing down with the hourly. Hourly does tend to have a, you're extremely bullish above this channel here, this price channel. So does this hold the price channel top here and start to go up a little bit more? Today's Tuesday, that was Monday, false move Monday for sure. I was trading NQ at the time. We caught a nice move to the upside, but it also had that manipulation to the upside too. Not in such a nearly violent giving it back immediately way, but they did shoot it to the upside, and we were seeing that play unfold and calling a recovery of the fair value gaps up here. All right, so where do we go from here? Let's go ahead and see. Dollar retracing back to the equilibrium zone. Do we start to get this bounce off the equilibrium? And then which case there's also some fair value gaps in here on the hourly that could take you to the downside some more for the dollar, giving a little bit more of a boost for those other things. You have a deeper one down in here. So this one is going to be on a 5 minute. Yeah, that's a good one. So basically down in this range here is a fair value gap. If we go all the way down to this region, this basically could get recovered here, and this would be a deep retrace. Basically slowly bleeding out into that open, into the news. This FOMC start to poise itself for a double bottom event here, for kind of like a bounce up out of this region. You do have some low sweeps zones over here. And just put the low out there here as well. We had a previous double bottom at 105.565. Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance had this surge up to a massive level, 52.3. We had this region for you up here. We broke the 786 level. So are we starting to consolidate to go higher here? As in coming back here and then starting to go up more on the dominance. Going to USDT dominance, people entered their USDT into the trade. We were seeing that for you. We didn't see the violence of that, but we did catch the glimpse of it coming down, meaning people putting their money into the trade. If it bounces off this adaptive moving average here and starts to bounce off this adaptive, then perhaps this means, ooh, perhaps this means that it could knock people back into USDT and the Bitcoin drops and continues higher. I don't know. We're not going to put it that high. Don't have so the idea of people coming back into USDT getting knocked out of their trades seems to be more likely than not, and the Bitcoin dominance dropping a little bit from here to test some of these vectors, more likely than not. Total, we were talking about this idea of this retrace. We had a rocket ship appear, two rocket ships that took off here, rocket ship number 1, rocket ship number 2, Monday the 11th and now October the 13th, a month apart basically. And so are we going to see this continue or fatigue here? 4-hour time frame, just like Bitcoin's chilling above this adaptive. Can you get this continuation idea? So far we don't have the cross down events of any of these medium time frame baselines just yet, so it's all of what the hourly can do. Most likely the hourly is going to go sideways and induce some positions here leading into the FOMC, so I wouldn't be surprised if it chops around. We're putting the idea of going up and then down first, but I would be surprised if it just didn't, induce everything leading up into tonight, and then around, let's see, that would be around here, leading into the golden hour time when all the news is going in, then it starts to do its thing. So we'll see how London do London and everyone kind of play with the ranges a little bit, and then lead into New York for some more violence, induce some more pools, and we'll just take it easy, play it by ear. I'll see you on the live. I gotta go now, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you for NQ Futures Live for the New York opening drive, and we'll see you on the flip side. Peace. Yeah, I know there's purple stuff